session right now. Moving ahead to our next panel session today, after the fantastic panel on dairy fortification, we will now have another topic which is equally important and very, very much relevant in the whole scheme of things for this two-day overall India Food Nutrition Summit and Award Ceremony. Our next topic, let me give you a brief before I invite on stage the honorable panel members. Probiotic nutrition in India, where are we? And the honorable panel members would be sharing information and sharing viewpoints on certain topics like biological effects of probiotics, probiotics in improving health and controlling diseases, probiotics' role to improve overall health, metabolism and immunity, getting probiotics from supplements, and many more. So without further ado, I would like to announce and invite the honorable panel members in the order of sequence with a big round of applause. Our first panel member joining the stage, Dr. Agatha Betsy, Senior Specialist, Nutrition Strategy and Communications, Mondelez, India. Dr. Betsy, welcome to the stage once again for India Food Nutrition Summit and Awards. Joining Dr. Betsy, I would now like to call on stage with a big round of applause, Mr. Prabhakar Mishra, Associate Director from Food Regulatory Affairs, Perfetti Van Melle. A big round of applause to Prabhakar ji. Prabhakar ji, welcome to the India Food Nutrition Summit and Awards. Joining them, we have our next panel member, Mr. Ashish Savita, Research and Development Head, NDC, Devyani Foods Industries. A big round of applause to Ashish ji. Ashish ji, welcome to the India Food Nutrition Summit and Awards. Joining them, our next panel member, with a big round of applause, please welcome Mr. Atanu Haldar, Senior Director, Herbalife Nutrition. Can we have a big round of applause for Atanu ji? Atanu ji, welcome once again to the stage. And now I would like to call on stage the honorable moderator of the panel, Dr. Neerja Hajela, Head Science and Regulatory Affairs, Yakul Danan, India. Neerja ji, welcome to the stage once again. Captain of the ship, moderator of the panel, all over to you, ma'am. Looking forward to a great session. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Nice to see faces at the end of it all. Like we're all here looking at each other. It's an amazing feeling. And I'm honored to be moderating this panel discussion. We have an exclusive set of panel members and you can ask all your questions. So like Soumya said, the topic of our panel discussion is probiotic nutrition in India and where are we? So let me just set stage for the panel discussion. So a bad digestion is the root of all evil and death sits in the bowel. That's what Hippocrates said some 2,500 years ago. So he was a wise man. He knew that all diseases begin in the gut. Then years later in 1908, Dr. Elie Mechnikov, he was a Russian scientist, and he proposed the use of friendly bacteria for improvement of health. And this is because he saw that Bulgarian farmers, they consume large amount of fermented milk drinks. And he proposed that the lactic acid bacteria in these fermented milk drinks reached the intestine alive and reduced intestinal putrefaction. So that was how the concept of good bacteria and friendly bacteria came into being. Now in the last 10 years, the spotlight is again on the gut. And the reason for this is very simple because in the last 10 years, because of the advent of metagenomics and high throughput sequencing technologies, we know that we are almost the same number of microbes as human cells. So the question is, who is the host? And these microorganisms are everywhere in the body. So traditionally it was believed that the intrauterine environment was sterile. But today we know that even the placenta and the amniotic fluid is bathed with microbes. And the largest number of the microbes are found in your gut, in the intestine, and they are referred to as the intestinal microbiota. Now the question is, what are they doing in the intestine? So they help in digestion of food, absorption of nutrients, they help in maintaining your bowel movements. Another very interesting fact is that about 70% of the body's immune system is also located in the gut. So the intestine, which was we just thought it was about digestion of food, is also the largest immune organ of the human body. And these microorganisms are very critical for building both your innate and acquired immune responses. So the balance of the microbes is very, very important, and an imbalance leads to weak digestion and poor immunity. So in that context today, we have probiotics, we have prebiotics, we have symbiotics, which improve the balance and improve gut health. So my first question is to Dr. Agatha, that how is the gut health impacted by the gut microbiota? Could you elaborate on this a little more?
Good morning, everyone, to start with. Thank you, Nija, for the question. I think you've elaborated it very well in a succinct manner, but very nicely, what microbiota is and where do they reside. Are we the host or are they the host? Of course, that's a question probably, because there are trillions of them in our body. And we essentially are functioning, the body functioning depends on how they are managing us or how are they being managed by us. So it's a two-way approach. And to start with, I would just like to go back and address one starting point, that what is gut and what are the main functions, just a little bit of that so that we understand gut a little bit better. Gut is, as ma'am said, that it's the most important part of our body. The digestion, absorption, assimilation, all those processes take place. Gut helps in the absorption of important macronutrients, all the nutrients for the maintenance of the body. So that includes all the vitamins, minerals, and all other nutrients. And therefore, a proper gut and a proper maintenance of the intestinal membrane is also very important, so that the uptake of nutrients is at an optimum level. And all the levels of nutrients are being taken up for the body function. So that's the primary function of gut. Of course, leading on to that then there is a release of waste from the body, and then you get rid of all the toxins also from the body. And then comes the main important and evolving. Of course, there is science which is emerging now, and it will continue to emerge, and we will have some established science in coming years that gut plays a very important role in the maintenance of the immune function and how it modulates, because gut is, of course, 70% of the immune cells, and all the immune functions happen in gut. And therefore, there is one important factor now I want to bring in here, that when gut is operating in itself, it's not operating in isolation, it is operating with one of the most important organ of the human body, which is the brain. And that is something is called gut-brain axis. So sometimes I think we must have observed that whenever we are not feeling well, we see some other symptoms also. So if we have headache, that is sometimes accompanied with an irritable bowel and a stomach disturbance. So these are some of the associations that we have when gut is interacting with brain, and it's a vicious cycle. If you maintain a proper gut, you will probably have a good brain function as well. And we've seen in many of the studies that a proper gut, which is maintained at a young age, will lead to a better elderly person in the later half. And when the gut is not maintained in a proper manner, even right from the birth or right from childhood, we see that the person who grows with such condition is more susceptible to conditions like Alzheimer's and so on. So it's not that you cater to gut for now, you have to cater to gut for the future as well. And this is something that we need to learn, and there is science which is coming up, and more and more things are opening up. It's not very clear as of now how this all happens, but there are certain ifs and buts here. And gut is interacting with the brain very actively, and just here, how the gut behaves with brain is something we know. And when gut is properly maintained, there are certain chemicals like the happy hormone, serotonin, dopamine. These are also released. 70% or 50% to 70% of these hormones are also released in gut. So when these are released in gut, they actually impact and they act for the brain function. So you need to maintain a happy gut to maintain a happy brain and eventually a happy body. So that's where essentially, and it's very important, how do we maintain a gut? And I think we will discuss in further discussion with our esteemed panel members, what all are the factors that we should be maintaining. So I'll just hold on here, and if later is required, I'll take this up later.
Thank you, Dr. Gatha. I think Dr. Gatha brought out a very important point that we have something known as the gut-brain axis. So recent scientific evidence has shown that the gut is linked to the brain through the vagus nerve. And almost 2/3 of the neurotransmitters like dopamine, serotonin are produced in the gut. So like she said, a happy gut or a happy brain is a happy gut and vice versa. So the connection, I mean, like she said, the gut is not just about digestion of food, absorption of nutrients, removal of waste material, but also the largest immune organ and the second brain of the human body. So it does play a very important role, and the microbes there. So we have those trillions of microbes which are, you know, living in harmony with one another in the gut to ensure that we have a healthy life. So in that context, Ashish, how do probiotics and prebiotics really influence the gut microbiota? And it'll be nice if you can give a definition of probiotics and also prebiotics for benefit of the audience.
So basically, we need to understand first what is the probiotic and what is the prebiotic. So by the WHO and the FAO, there is a definition for the probiotic. A food which is claiming as a probiotic, there should be the live bacteria, live microorganism in a specific number so that they can reach to the target site that we can call the intestine, small intestine and the large intestine. So they reached to the site and elicit the elicit the beneficial impact to the host. And if we talk about the prebiotics, there is so many substances which is non-digestible into the human digestive tract, but they reach to the intestine and the large intestine and takes place in the fermentation and they break into the some other substances. Prebiotics promotes the growth of the probiotics bacteria and give the nutrition to start the colonization on epithelial layer. So these two prebiotics and probiotics in general is the better combination for the probiotic industry so that we can penetrate the market like India, because in India the environment is not friendly with the microorganism because of the tropical conditions. If we see the Western countries, the temperature and environment is favorable for the probiotics. But in India, it is not happening because of the poor, we can say we are under the development of the cold chain infrastructure. So when we don't have the proper penetration into the rural areas also. So probiotics and prebiotics can help us to promote this concept into the whole the generations of whole the India. And the after that, if we say what probiotics do with the human body. So the probiotics, when we administrate the probiotic dose to the human, then the probiotics reduce the, there's so many numerous beneficial impact on the host that Nirja ji also said that so many functions probiotics plays into the human microflora. When the human gut microflora disturbed, there's so many adverse effect we seen on the body. So when the gut microflora well balanced and maintained, then the body is healthy. So if we take for the example what probiotics is doing, probiotics generally create a hostile or competitive environment in the human gut and inhibit the growth of the pathogenic bacteria. Probiotics generally consider that Lactobacillus and Bifidobacterium as a probiotics, and it is considered accorded as a grass, generally recommended for safe consumption. So if we say probiotics reduce the pH of the gut microflora, which promotes the calcium, iron, copper, and lots of minerals absorption, which allow these elements into the blood flow. So probiotics also play an important role for prevention of the osteoporosis, because when the human gut pH maintain and regulate, then it can easily absorb the other micronutrients, which plays an important role in the osteoporosis. The numerous studies have gone on this, and clinical trial has observed that probiotics reduce the risk of osteoporosis and increase the bone density and the stability. So this is the probiotics, and if we talk about the prebiotics, there's for example that lactitol, fructooligosaccharides, galacto-oligosaccharides. So these are the example for the prebiotics. And if we give the prebiotics and probiotic in combination to the person, then the survival chances of the microorganisms will increase, and we will get the better result. Lots of studies and the have gone on it, and clinical trial is there. So so this is the another function. And if we talk that the another attribute of this probiotic is this: it induce or improve the immunity. So basically the solid or the solid mechanism and the research, it is not available, but the clinical trial shows that it is boosting the immunity of the human body by balancing the gut microflora. When the gut microflora is disturbed, so there are so many and numerous disease or bacterial infection can take place. So when a person is on a probiotic diet or taking the live organism, live bacteria in a pure form, so there the chances and their gut functionality is improved, and they feel that they are not more susceptible against the small diseases like which is we can relate with the E. coli and the Helicobacterium pylori and the Candida related issues. So yes, probiotics and prebiotics combination works well, and there is a lot of evidences and clinical research is there. But still, the access of the any kind of product is not good for the health, and there is no long-term evidence, long-term taken evidence, and the studies on the probiotics and prebiotics that what will happen if a person can take the probiotic for 10 years and 12 years. So this kind of research is going on in near future. We will in the stage that we can claim that probiotic and prebiotic is safe for the long-term use also.
Okay. Thank you, Ashish ji. I think important point that Ashish ji has brought out is that what is a probiotic? Like he said that according to the FAO, Food Agriculture Organization, and World Health Organization, a probiotic is defined as an organism which is alive, which reaches your intestine live. So most of these bacteria get killed in the stomach, but for a probiotic, it's important that it has to survive in the gastric juices of the stomach and reach your target site, which could be the small intestine or the large intestine, in large numbers to give you a scientifically validated health benefit. And a prebiotic is nothing but food for the probiotic organism, and these are foods which are not digested in the small intestine, and they reach the large intestine in an undigested form and thereby serve as food for the beneficial bacteria. So one clarity I wanted to bring out here is that I think ever since probiotics came into India, there's always been that one question that हम तो दही लेते हैं, हम लस्सी लेते हैं, so why do we need a probiotic? So dahi, lassi, traditional fermented foods, they are excellent for nutrition. All your proteins, vitamins, minerals. But the lactic acid bacteria that are found in these products, they are killed in the stomach. So while they're excellent for nutrition, they do not classify as true probiotics. So that is one distinction that needs to be made, and how probiotics are different from our traditional fermented foods. So taking this discussion forward, my next question is to Atanuji, that there is a lot of talk about one probiotic, 2 probiotic strains, 3 probiotics, or probiotic and prebiotic, combination is better, single is better. So Tanuji, can you just elaborate on that, please?
Thank you. I think that's a very valid question. And I think thanks for clarifying, Nijaji, to the audience that what is the difference between the probiotic and the prebiotic. I think the probiotic has to be consumed in a quantity, the live cells, which has to go to your target site and deliver the benefit, right? And the prebiotics are to be chosen in such a way that it does not get digested in your stomach. It has to go to the site where the microbes are there, the probiotics are there, right? So it has to go all the way down to your small intestine and then the large intestine to be able to serve as a food for those the probiotics, right? Now, whether we want to derive the benefit, from one probiotic or one prebiotic, or a combination of 2 probiotics and a combination of probiotic and prebiotic, I think the choice is ours, right? The benefit that a single probiotic will give, and when you combine that with another probiotic, you might get a different kind of synergistic benefit, and that's going to be definitely a targeted kind of a nutrition requirement for the population, right? Just for giving an example, I think in Mother Dairy they have a product called which is a combination of I think it's a combination of LA5 and BB12.
We have someone from
I
Mother
think
Dairy
Prashant, so I think that's a great product which not only give the benefit of digestion and the irritable bowel syndrome, but also probably the diarrhea, right? So there are similar combinations like let's say lactobacillus, when it can be combined with the FOS, which he was just talking about. So FOS is a prebiotic. You not only get the gut benefit, but also there are evidences that you can lose weight. Okay, there is a combination of lactobacillus rhamnosus and inulin, which has been shown to improve the BMI Z score and also the waist circumference. So I think there are many such examples, Dr. Nija, and I think therefore the choice of the synergistic microorganisms and the synergistic prebiotic with that particular strain is going to be critical to deliver the kind of benefit that you want to reap.
Yes, true. I think what you really, Tanuji has rightly said that there are a lot of studies which have shown that combinations have worked better. But I think in the end, it is the scientific validation of that particular benefit. And when we make claims on products, it must be scientifically validated. So whether it is an independent probiotic strain or a combination of pre and probiotic, which is a symbiotic, it is very important that the effect on the human body should be scientifically validated, and then accordingly you make the required claims. Thank you, Atanuji. That was very useful. And now I'm coming to Prabhakarji. We know that India is battling with the triple burden of nutrition. We have undernutrition, we have overnutrition, and we have hidden hunger. So how do you think probiotics and prebiotics will be useful for a country, especially like India?
Yeah. Thank you so much, Neeraja ji. And a very good morning to everyone. So, although preliminary discussion already has been happened regarding benefit of prebiotic and probiotic, But now coming to what is the status here in India. So yeah, we know that the food condition in India, because we are actually fond of having street foods. So we know the hygiene status which is there prevalent in India. It's not very good. Means we know that dusty environment is there, and samosa is open, and we know we eat pakoda, etc., etc. So hygienic condition is not very good in the streets. Another example is means we are so far unable to provide safe and safe drinking water to our population, particularly in rural part of the India. And these situations actually trigger metabolic disorder, indigestion, etc., etc. So it is quite on higher side as compared to other part of the world. So actually, this such products which are actually loaded with probiotic strains and having prebiotic ingredients in them, they can support the population in dealing with such illnesses or diseases, because we know that it is very important for our GI health to have immunity and to just be means it's a sort of actually preventive approach towards any coming illness or disease. As Agatha also said that it is also related to our brain, means our overall health and well-being. Having said that, as Neeraj ji asked, so currently in India, there is malnutrition up to 5 years children, which is ranging around 35%, which is a big number. And for women between 15 to 49, there is malnutrition of around 18%. So how these things can be tackled in terms of improving the malnutrition? So as our honored panelist member said that prebiotic and probiotic, they are really very important in terms of absorption of the nutrients in the body, in our gut. So once there is actually too much mass awareness about such products, these are consumed at national level, then there will be better absorption of such nutrients which will improve our health and well-being at large. So in nutshell, the environment in India in terms of hygiene, sanitary situation, etc., is not that much good as compared to developed part of the world. So we are on lower side. Safe and safe drinking water is not available to most of the population in India, and malnutrition is also existing, as I said. So prebiotic and probiotic plays really very important role in managing all these things, because whenever we go to the doctor having some stomach disease, सबसे पहले यही पूछता है आप बाहर का खाया क्या? So why does he ask? Because the environment is not very good. The food hygiene is not very good. And when he recommends antibiotic, he also will give you the sort of sachet which is loaded with prebiotic strains, because that supports our gut. So when we take antibiotic, that also kills good bacteria in the gut. So actually there is a holistic management of such situation when we go to the doctor. Now that is actually recommended, or you can say prescribed prebiotic which are given by the doctor, but we can have preventive approach. There are products available in the market, and if we consume that, they will improve health of our guts, and also will prepare for any upcoming disease or illness. And so it's actually sort of holistic management of our health and well-being. So it's really very important per se India, Neerja ji, having the current situation in terms of hygiene and malnutrition which is prevalent here.
Thank you, Prabhakar ji. That was, yes. And there have been studies which have shown that malnourished children, especially children living in slum areas, they have a condition which is known as environmental entropathy. So the villi, which is in the small intestine and used for absorption of nutrients, they are blunted. So while they may be consuming the right amount of nutrients, but the nutrients are not properly absorbed by the body, and therefore gut health is becoming very important, even for those children who live in slum settings. I then go back to Dr. Gatha. Immunity has been the buzzword for 3 years now. And while we may say that trends are going down, the immunity boosting foods have come, are not as popular as they were during the COVID time. But the fact that 70% of our body's immunity is in the gut, and the gut is also the largest immune organ of the human body. How do you think probiotics can influence the immune system of the human body?
Thank you, Nija. So I'll pick up where Prabhakarji left. So probiotics are very important for the gut, and of course you all have added on how probiotics are helpful. Just to give a context to the immune system, probiotics actually try to maintain the integrity of the gut lining as well. And that is very important because the integrity and villi are very important for the absorption of some of the important nutrients. So now when we say immunity, something which comes on to our mind is zinc, iron, vitamin C, zinc, iron, vitamin C and vitamin D. And these are the primary nutrients, and their absorption is very important. And if the villi is impaired due to any reason, malnutrition, or there are endemic reasons as well, there are other reasons, celiac disease and other reasons as well. So any of these are happening, there is a malabsorption of these nutrients, and therefore maintenance of that gut integrity is very important. What probiotics also do is that they reduce the penetration of harmful bacteria or harmful microorganisms. They constantly keep competing with these bad bacteria, because we are having an inlet of good bacteria and the bad bacteria. I would use a simpler term here. And when there is a balance of this and probiotics are more in number, they will help the absorption of the nutrients more and reduce the coming in of the bad bacteria. Now, when bad bacteria come, of course, they will bring all the bad things along with them. There is bad environment generated because of the metabolites that they keep generating in the body. And it's very important to curb their entrance. That's what probiotics do, firstly. And secondly, inletting the nutrients. And when the immune nutrients come in, they get into the physiology and they perform their benefits. At the same time, when the gut integrity is maintained, the gut lining is, there is an interaction, an interface between these, between the immune cells and the probiotics. And then there is release of all these immune functioning agents. So we have some of the important substance like cytokines, we have immunoglobulins, IgA is there, and IgG is there, IgE is there. So with respect to whatever is the condition, if it is allergy, it's IgG, if it's any kind of innate immunity, then it enables the functioning of macrophages, natural killer cells, and subsequently there is an enhanced, we've seen studies have shown that there is an enhanced performance of adaptive immunity. And I think there is emerging study, but it still has to be established that probiotics have something good to do and benefit to certain diseases as grave as cancer as well. But there is yet to be given an establishment on that. Studies are coming in. And of course, I talked about the elderly diseases like Alzheimer's and all, and then the gut-brain barrier, the gut-brain axis here. So, and so ultimately when we see that these chemicals are more increased in number, there are nutrients which are absorbed more in number to perform immune functions. They are performing their functions, the chemicals are being released more in number. The efficiency of these chemicals in terms of prevention of diseases is also increased when there is a set amount of probiotics. And I would just like to add in one more point that it's very important that a person and the gut is trained for the containment of these probiotics, because they do not get generated all of a sudden. The gut has to be maintained right from the beginning, and that's where I also alluded earlier that maintaining the gut right from the childhood is very important. And if I may go a little bit back, maintaining the gut of the child through the mother is important. So it doesn't really start at the childhood or the infancy. It starts when the mother is pregnant, because her gut and then during lactation, her breast milk will pass on all these probiotics and the prebiotics. Of course, human milk has its own oligosaccharides. They are very well known as beneficial prebiotics. They get passed on, and when these things are getting passed on to the child is having a very positive gut microbiota, and the gut is habitual of having this, and therefore all the subsequent functions are in line. They are not hampered until and unless there are grave situations like malnutrition, diarrhea, any other infection. So when these infections are coming in, of course, the gut lining and the balance which was there gets disturbed. But otherwise, if there is a proper balance and proper inlet of probiotics is being taken care right from the early childhood, it actually leads to a happy childhood, adulthood, and a happy elderly age as well.
Thank you, Dr. Agatha. Thank you for elucidating the different mechanisms by which probiotics work. And you're right that, the gut microbiota right from birth, and not really birth, pregnancy becomes very important. So there are studies which have shown that in pregnancy, the gut microbiota of a pregnant woman in the 3rd trimester is almost like that of a patient who suffers from inflammatory bowel disease. So the microbiota, and giving a probiotic or a prebiotic intervention at this stage, which actually help to improve both the gut health and the immune system of the newborn. And there are studies which show that breastfed babies have a healthier microbiome as compared to formula-fed babies. Vaginally delivered babies have a much healthier microbiome as compared to, the C-sec babies. So there is a lot of data, and I think the microbiome does play a very important role, and I think that is the crux of the discussion now. So having come this far, now I think probiotics, prebiotics are here to stay. So my next question is to Ashish ji, that you're from Creambell. I love that ice cream. But is Creambell doing any innovation in this area of probiotics or prebiotics?
Yes, when we talk about the prebiotics and probiotics, there is a major challenge to penetrate the market with the cold infrastructure. So in India, the lots of ice cream industry is working. So there is around the four, 5 companies who is organized in the ice cream sector, and those has the strong infrastructure in a cold room management and the penetration to the rural areas as well as the urban areas. So it is good to launch a probiotic product between the ice cream, because it will not cost us on a higher verge. So so the Creambell hopefully will launch the probiotics products. Also, Creambell already doing some dairy products like yogurt and the lassi, chach, this kind of product Creambell is doing. But now the emerging trend of these dairy products with the probiotics and prebiotics, because of the consumer awareness. After this pandemic, now the consumer is running behind the healthy and the nutritional products, because consumers understand that we can prevent any kind of disease if we take the action previously and maintain our diet as per the recommendations which is continuously released by the WHO and FAO and the FOSAI. So lots of awareness program is running by the FOSAI and the Indian government for the consumers, that we can say that fortification awareness program is running in India, that nutritional probiotics and the prebiotics awareness program is little, we can say low. So we can say this lack of awareness slow down the market of the probiotics and prebiotics. So I think last but not the least, that all the probiotics and the prebiotics companies come together and can discuss with the government that we also want to do a campaign and with the print media and the electronic media, so that customer and consumer can aware about the probiotics and its health benefits.
Yes, yes. Yeah, so that is nice. So we are looking forward to the Cream Bell probiotic ice cream soon, Ashish, and many more products. But I think important point here also is that it should be scientifically validated. It is very important that the probiotic or prebiotic content must remain the same until end of shelf life. So, and probiotics are viable bacteria, so you have to ensure the viability of the bacteria in that matrix, the carrier matrix also. So that is very important, and thank you for that. And Atanuji, so what are the factors that a manufacturer should keep in mind when making a probiotic product?
So when you say manufacturer, it means the
FDO,
user,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Okay. I think if an FMCG player or a direct selling industry has to use the probiotics, I think they need to be mindful of a few things. So that the selection of the strain, right, first, whether it is having safe history of use, right? That's number one. Whether the strain that I am considering is allowed by the Indian regulation. Then what is the kind of numbers that you need to have in your raw material, in your formula, that is going to give that benefit that you are looking for. Then I think your format is very important, right? Whether you want to choose which vehicle you are choosing, right? Whether it is a milk or it is a fermented milk, or it's a dry powder, or whether it's a baked food. So accordingly, your choice for the probiotic will change, right? If let's say I have to use something in bakery industry, then it has to withstand that temperature, right? Then what is the kind of ecosystem that you have in your organization? Do you have chilled or refrigerated supply chain? If you don't have, then you have to look for some probiotic which will sustain the ambient condition, right? And I think what is also important that the stability of the strain, right, in your product, in your format, across your entire distribution chain is very critical. Now there are, apart from this, I think the claim that you want to make has to be substantiated, whether you want to make a product-related claim or you want to latch upon to the claim that your supplier has already invested in it, so that matters. Then which category you want to launch it in, whether it is a food supplement or it's a major food products like the ice cream, which is a categorized food product. So that depends, right? So these are few things. I think I can talk a lot, and also there are some hygiene checks should be there, right? Whether your strain is resistant to mutation, because that's so critical, right?
Yeah.
Your supplier has developed the strain, but may not have used it in a kind of format or processing that you are going to maintain in your while making your product, right? So during those processing conditions, is it resistant that it will not mutate, and then the entire benefit will get disturbed, right? So there are many things. I think it's not a very simple answer. But I think a holistic approach is required to take care of the benefit of the probiotics and the prebiotics that you are trying to deliver through your product design.
Yeah, thank you, Atanuji. I think that's very important. And in India today, if we see the market for probiotics, it's largely the dairy-based products. So you have Mother Dairy, you have Amul, you have Nestle, Yakult, all of them are in formats of curd or lassi, or you have even ice cream. Amul has an ice cream. So it's largely, so the cold chain here becomes very, very important. And maintaining that cold chain and ensuring that the product is also stored at the correct temperature, since it is a dairy product, is also very important. So I think that becomes very
By the
good.
way, I mean, I just like to say that although maybe we are into direct selling industry, we will not be able to find our products on the shelf or retail industry, retail shops. But we have a strain which is differentiated and which does not require a cold chain, right? So it's a strain which is a lactobacillus again, and if you consume one serve, it will give you benefit against the irritable bowel syndrome. And if you take 2 doses in a day for 7 days, it will help you in diarrhea, overcoming the diarrhea conditions, right? Now, this product is completely ambient stable, so people can carry with them, and it's in sachet, so you can carry in your purse anywhere.
have it
And also, it can be consumed in normal condition. That means in normal water also you can dissolve and take it. You can add it in your tea so that it's resistant to heat also.
Heat also. Oh, that's very nice.
So that's the differentiated one. I think for the industry, I think how do we differentiate is going to be the
Very-
key to the success. And you know your product better than
Very
anybody else.
True. So yeah, that's very nice. And Prabhakar ji, last but not the least, what is the requirement? What is the regulatory framework? I think we discussed it yesterday, but just for the benefit of the audience, what are the regulations, and especially in India, to launch such probiotic or prebiotic products?
Yeah, thanks, Neerja. So yeah, we know that functional foods are regulated under FSSAI. So in 2016, FSSAI notified several requirements related to functional foods, and that also included prebiotic and probiotic, although there have been some amendments to the regulations. And as per the requirements, any person who wants to manufacture prebiotic or probiotic or any functional food, they have to go for central licensing, first thing. Second, probiotic, they are required to have the strains which are there notified in earlier in Schedule 7, but now because amendment has been made, so they are there in Schedule 4, and there are 31 strains which can be used, but that is not the end. So FSCCI keep on working around that. If there are certain developments, so they keep on adding the strains further to that schedule. And in terms of prebiotics, so they were earlier 13, now they are 16, right? Yeah, so they can be added in the products under prebiotic and probiotic. Having said that, there will be minimum 10 raised to the power 8 CFU of the available microorganism in live form in the product, recommended in a day per serving. Earlier, it was 10 raised to the power 8 CFU per gram minimum. So it could be higher, but not less than that. And any probiotic or prebiotic, it can't be advertised like it will cure, prevent, or treat any disease. Although a statement related to well-being can be there on the pack, right? And as I said, that number of CFUs, they have to be declared on the pack, and its species, genesis, and the control culture number shall also be mentioned on the label of such prebiotic and particularly probiotic. And that's it, I think, which are as of now means prescribed under the regulations.
Thank you, Prabhakar.
And in addition, we cannot claim those products as for medicinal use. So
Not for medicinal
this statement has to be there on such products.
Yeah, because they're largely for preventing, improving health, but not for treatment of diseases.
Right.
Thank you very much. And as we come to the end of the panel discussion, we have 3 minutes and 35 seconds. So just very quickly, one take-home message for the audience from all our panel members. Agatha, quickly. Just in one line, and then we'll take questions from the audience.
I think I'll just make an amusing statement here that इंसान के दिल का नहीं दिमाग का रास्ता भी उसके पेट से ही जाता है. So we should try to maintain a happy gut.
Prabhakar ji,
Yeah, I think we have already said a lot of things about it. So we need to imbibe, means like we take several foods in the day. We should be also part of our daily food. I'll say that.
Okay. Ashish
Prebiotic
ji.
and probiotic.
Yeah, the prebiotic and probiotics, it's a better combination that people should use it from their daily life. So in India, we can't say that all are knows the dahi and curd and they are eating from the very ancient time. So, but now the prebiotic, we need to understand the form that it is a pure form of the bacteria that will definitely give the benefit what
body.
what is important for our body.
Atanu ji, in one line.
Yeah, I think we are still scratching the surface in India, right?
Yeah,
Only
nascent
few, very nation stage. I would encourage that the food industries would take probiotic probably a little seriously and then come up with very, different kind of innovations, right?
Thank you. Thank you. So with that, we come to the end of the panel discussion, and thank you very much, panel members, for your excellent inputs. And now we have time, I think, for 2 questions. I'm seeing the time, it's 1:53, so we have time for 2 questions. Yes.
Sure. Thank you so much, Neerja ji. And I would like to take questions from the audience. So we have one question from the gentleman in the front. Can we have the mic, please? To which panel member it is directed?
Myself, Aparna Tandon, and I'm from Signutra, working in the new product development. So my question is to, in fact, all the panel members. As you said that basis the new regulation guidelines, if a nutraceutical product, like a nutrition supplement product, wish to add a probiotic in the formula, then what category they should categorize? They need to be in the nutraceutical, or they have to offer probiotic foods because they have now added a probiotic for a specific function. Secondly, as you rightly said, 1 into 10 to the raised to power 8 CFU per day serving, then you can claim yourself as a source of probiotic. But if the claim which the manufacturer or the marketer wants to make on that particular probiotic strain is at a higher quantity, then can we do it just by giving the source claim condition? And as you must be aware, the cost of probiotics is really very, very high. So giving that much quantity is again gonna be not very cost effective for the manufacturer as well as for the consumer, because then it's gonna increase the MRP of the final product. So these are a few of my questions.
Thank you, ma'am. Who do you
Second question. Yes, if you add a probiotic, now the Food Safety Standards Authority has brought out the new Nutra regulations on 29th of March, where probiotics is an independent category. So if you add the probiotic, you have to mention the genus, the species, the strain, you have to mention the viable count, and you also have to mention the scientifically proven health benefits and not for medicinal use. Now, if your strain is working at a higher concentration, then you can include that, because your benefit of that particular strain is only at that particular concentration. So it's absolutely fine to include those numbers of probiotic bacteria. And your third question was?
Can be added to other
It can be added to?
other functional foods, apart from
Yeah, it can be added to any other functional food, but once you add a probiotic, then it comes under the probiotic food category. So like Yakult, for instance, we are a fermented milk drink, but because we have a probiotic, we come under the probiotic food category. So our subcategory is a fermented milk drink, but our main category is the probiotic food.
Thank you so much. Can we have the next question?
Good morning, everyone. Myself, Dr. Girish Gupta from Zion Life Sciences. It's very insightful information onto probiotics and prebiotics. Of course, as per me and understanding the probiotics and prebiotics is a buzzword, rather immunity. So I just wanted to understand with all the panelists how Indian companies are working in the area of probiotics and prebiotics and what are the innovations going on. However, as I came across with some companies into US, they are working on to mixed strain probiotics for therapeutic benefit. So rather than preventive, they are working on to medicinal benefit of mixed strength probiotics. So how do we raise Indian companies to cope up and speed up our activity in the area of pre and probiotic compared to global countries?
Any particular person to whom you want the question?
This question with all the panelists.
I think, Dr. Ajula, then you have to take a call. Who wants to answer the question?
So basically, I think in India we have two categories. We have foods, which comes under FSSAI, and we have drugs. So in India also, if you see, there are a lot of probiotic drugs in the market. You have Enterogermina, you have Econom, you have a lot of that, which the doctor prescribes when he is giving an antibiotic. Because eventually when you have an antibiotic, you come up with antibiotic-associated diarrhea. So they give a probiotic. So that is the drug category. When you're looking at foods, foods are not for treatment of any disease. They're only for improvement of general well-being, improvement of gut health, immunity, all of that, your basic claims. So there are a lot of companies now coming out with probiotics. Like I said, Mother Dairy already has that combination strain of LA5 and BB12. Nestle has, Amul has. Cream Bell is coming out, Herbalife will also come out. So there are food companies who are working in that direction, but of course they have to comply with the regulations that are set down by FSSAI.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you, madam, for answering that question. And I'm sure, I mean, the audience will have more questions, but
There
for
is
the interest
one
of the
more
time,
question, I think.
you want to take one more question?
One more, he's just raised his hand.
Okay, sure.
About live probiotic strains. So when we are adding in any of the food particles, so the probiotic, we are maintaining cold chain storage, everything is there. After reaching the harsh environment of the stomach, the probiotic is going to be dead. Then how does it reach to the intestine, where it act?
Can I take? Yeah, I think the choice of strain, that's what we were trying to say from here on the dais, that the choice of strain should be resistant to your bile acid reactions, okay? Gastric juice, pH, it will be able to withstand that. And then it has to go to your intestine to be able to give you the benefit. So you can choose that in different ways. You can, I mean, there are live strains which are capable of withstanding that, environment of your stomach. There are spores also, which can get to your, I mean, they are obviously resistant to your pancreatic juice, and once it goes to your intestine, they will proliferate there.
Absolutely. So that's what I want to come up over here, because that's the major area which has been missed out. Because bacillus-based, spore-based probiotics are actually reconditioning the gut, and they regerminate, colonize, and grow inside the gut. So what happens in the live attenuated bacteria, basically they are claiming 100 billion CFU, 200 billion CFU. By the time it reaches to the intestine, maybe 0 or 1 billion CFU.
So that's the important criteria for you to differentiate between an ordinary bacteria and a probiotic bacteria.
Correct.
A probiotic bacteria has to be called probiotic, it has to reach your intestine alive. So
Absolutely.
it has to transit the GI tract and be able to survive in the stomach to reach the intestine live in
Correct.
that number.
That's what, madam.
Yes.
Because when I come this LA50, LA05 or Bifidobacterium strains, usually in the pharmaceutical products, either in drug or in food license, in tablet and capsule, they used to have DR caps or something like that. So wherein it protect from the harsh environment of the stomach. So I think for food companies that need to be tested out. One more important point, there is a study called SIME study, simulated environment of the,
yeah,
whether food companies are going ahead with those type of testings or not. I think that is also an important area to cover up in probiotic, because that is the need of hour.
Need of the hour. Yes.
And as you told for gut-brain axis, yes, this is a good area. In fact, we are bringing this product to India. In another 3 months, we are launching the product. It's Bifidobacterium longum, where when the probiotic is reaching to the intestine, through the vagus nerve, it releases serotonin, which helps the human population to release out their social stress.
Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you
Shweta
so
ji.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you very
I
much.
think
you
we have
so much.
to,
Thank
we have
you
to
very
keep the
much
time in
for
mind. Thank you so much for asking that question, and thank you so much, panel members. Can we have a big round of applause for this wonderful panel? on probiotic nutrition in India. I would now quickly like to call on stage Ms. Priya Bhardwaj from Ingredion to kindly do the honors of felicitating this wonderful panel. Priya, welcome to the India Food Nutrition Summit and Awards. Thank you so much. I would request all the panel members to kindly pose for a photograph. Priya, you could join them as well. And can we have another round of applause for this wonderful panel? Dr. Agatha Betsy, Prabhakar Mishra ji, Ashish Savita ji, Mr. Haldar and Dr. Neeja Hajela for wonderfully moderating this panel. Thank you so much, honorable panel members, and thank you so much, Priya, for doing the honors.